Kia ora, nau mai tauti mai ki tēnei wāhana hou o Taki Kōrero. Aroha mai whānau, welcome to Taki Kōrero. We had a few glitches in the system, but kei te pai, kei konei tātou. Welcome and good afternoon, Aotearoa, to the fourth kōrero of this special series, Taki Kōrero Live Q&As. We're holding these live kōrero to support you and your whānau during these tricky times during COVID-19. I'm Mariah Tepa from Skip, and we're lucky to have two grandfathers, but one is still on his way because he's got heaps of mahi still happening in the kaina. Both grandfathers who have raised a mokopuna or more in their homes. Now today we'll be speaking to both of them about the realities of grandparenting and raising mokopuna, and hopefully share some ideas for other grandparents in this tricky time. Before we kick off, we really want to encourage everyone to be part of this kōrero. So add a comment or any questions to our manuhiri that are coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to answer all of them. And if you know someone else that would be interested in this kōrero, just tag them in the comment box, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with them too. Let's go and meet our manuhiri. At the moment we only have one manuhiri, and that is Matua Eri Elliot. Kia ora e te matua.
Tēnā koe Mariah. O tira, kia ko te mā. Tēnā tātai.
Matua Eri, maybe you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Kia ora, uri tēnei no Ngāti Mania poto Ngāti Raukawa, Ngāpui, koro nei au e noho mai ke konei, ki whanganui ātara nei. So I come from Tainui, Mania poto Raukawa, Ngāpui. I've been here for the last 40 plus years in Wellington. I've been with a lot of rugby league clubs, sports clubs, been a matua whāngai. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I've been doing. And I'm at the Wānanga at the moment, doing a whānga paper. So, yeah.
Ka pai matua Ed. Hey, what we're really interested in, and what I really love to listen about, is when grandparents, when karaua and kuia are raising their mokopuna. Tell us just a bit about your whānau and your whānau bubble as a karaua, and your wife as a kuia raising mokopuna. What's happening in your bubble at the moment? Who's in your bubble?
Oh, okay then. So at the moment I got my son, who's 18, his girlfriend, who's 18 as well, my mokopuna, she's handicapped or deaf, and a little mokopuna, 7-year-old mokopuna. But I've got two bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah, I got
Tell
two
us about
bubbles.
your two bubbles.
Well, what happens is my girl's a solo mum.
Mm.
And one of my girls is a solo mum, so what happens is one of us has to either go up there into that bubble while she goes and does the shopping, and we look after the mokopuna until she gets back, just to give her a bit of time out of the house as well. That sort of thing, yeah. Or otherwise she comes and brings them down the highway, so I'm allowed to go between the two houses, or our bubble's allowed to go between the two.
And how has that been navigating the realities of having two bubbles to care for your mokopuna and to support mama?
Yeah, well, geez. Well, the thing is my girl likes to go out quite a bit. She's one of those ones that's pretty healthy, likes to do sports stuff and stuff like that. So sometimes we go up there just to let her get out and do her sports stuff. So she gets out and hits the road or goes up Wainui Hill, does her exercise sort of stuff. And just to help her keep her sanity. And she does the same for us. So we sort of swap places. We swap places sometimes, just so that we get a break. She gets a break, we get a break.
And the whole thing about giving everyone a break and just taking time for each other is a really choice thing, and especially as grandparents, you're able to give that tautoko. When you've got two mokopuna living with you, one with a disability and a younger one, 7, and kura starting, well, what's that been like in your kaina? What school
Yeah,
starting?
yeah. Well, see, like it's a good thing because my girl, she's a kaiawhina. She's a she, well, her track is to go somewhere along and teaching. So she does
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff with our mokopuna anyway. Um, with a lot of the things that go with COVID, we don't say too much to our mokopuna about it. We
Mm-hmm.
just let things go on, and because they don't really understand it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, as for my the one that's a paturi, the deaf one or handicap, well, she doesn't understand what's happening. She'll just go
Yeah.
out there and do things without even knowing. So we have to sort of teach her, hey, look, you can't go to the shops unless you take one of us, or
Yeah.
or try and teach her to keep those distances. Keep to the rules that the government's been giving out to the whānau via television.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that where you get most of your information when it comes to COVID, Matua, and keeping
yeah,
your whānau
yeah,
safe?
yeah, yeah.
What are the main messages
Well,
that
and a lot
you
of it
hear?
is instincts.
Yeah.
A lot of it's what you already know.
Mm.
Um, I mean, it's not like we haven't been in isolation. I think Māori have been in isolation most of their lives, so we probably know and how to react to it. We already know it.
Mm.
You know? So we're quite used to it. I will say we are.
Yeah. And thinking about what's happening and what is out there for grandparents, do you know of any support that are out there for grandparents?
Yeah, good question, because we've never asked for anything.
Yeah.
We actually haven't even gone there. We actually, no, we haven't. We've just stayed home. We've just stayed home, do the things that we need to do. Like I said, we've got the 2 bubbles, so my times is when I have to go up to my girl's house and mow her lawns and weed her gardens and stuff like that. So I go up there, and that's just to keep me sane and keep me doing something active.
Yeah.
Okay?
How do you
And it's
keep
vice versa, I guess.
Aye. And how do you keep positive in this time with your mokopunas, even with your mokopuna that doesn't really understand being turi? How do you keep positive in this space?
Well, she's the one that I really, really worry about.
Aye.
She is. I mean, all my other younger mokos and that they already know what's happening around them. Where it's slower for her to actually react to what's happening around her. You know what I'm saying? So
Aye.
sometimes we got to tell her. Sometimes she doesn't wear her hearing aids, and I think she does it on purpose so we don't say anything to her or she can't hear anything. Um, yeah, things like that. We worry about her when she goes down to the shops, because she likes to go down to the shops. She's quite independent, so she likes to go out there by herself. But we have to try and teach her, hey, don't get too close to the people when you go down there. She
Aye.
actually understands now. She actually
Aye.
understands.
Ka pai eti, we're going to introduce our second kai kōrero who we're able to talk to another koro that has got mokopuna in his home. But he seemed to disappear. So we might just carry on, but we will be having our second manuhiri coming in very soon. And I want to say a big kia ora to Round from Tāmaki, ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Te hoa. Now, if you've just tuned in, today we're talking to grandparents and how they're coping during COVID-19 and some of the things that they may be able to share and ideas, tips for other kaumātua and grandparents that are caring for their mokopuna. Today we're talking to Eddie Elliott, all the way from Petone, Petone League, and he's one of those matua that is a karaua not just to his own mokopuna, but I also know a real great male role model for a lot of the young boys that are being sold up and they only being cared by their mums. And I think we have our next manuhiri, and we're just connecting with him. Kia ora i te hoa, kia ora Eugene.
So him and then, Victor from Grandparenting, he's the new fellow, Tui Marikinoa.
Oh, I think he's on another hui whānau. I think he should jump off. Kei te pai. Matua Ed, we might go to you and just have it more kōrero, talk more about what you've noticed in your community in Lower Hutt.
Yeah, well, geez, I actually, that's quite funny, really, because you see everybody out on the road now. You see everybody getting, walking around, doing exercise. You're seeing couples doing it. You're seeing families doing it. So even though we're in a bad situation, they're turning that bad situation into a good situation by getting out there and, kori tinana, they're going out there and doing the exercise. There's a lot of families, that I haven't seen do things in a long time, especially down my street, because I'm the oldest, the longest living, what do you call it? That's been down my street, and I know just about everybody down my street.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that they're getting out more. I actually see them biking, doing biking, pushing pushchairs. I didn't even know they had kids. So
Ka whai, that's probably one positive is the, getting out and active and hākina kina, and you're now finding out they have tamariki, which is always a positive in your own street. I think Eugene, kei te pai koe Eugene, kua tau koe, kua reri koe.
Yeah, I just hung up on the MDG case.
Ka pai whānau. Well, I'd just like to introduce our other manuhiri, another grandfather who's got mokopuna in his house. And we know with grandfathers, there's some awesome grandmothers, kuia, that are supporting grandfathers to be awesome. So we mustn't forget that. Kia ora i te whanauna, Eugene. Why don't you give us a little bit of kōrero about yourself and your whānau bubble. Who makes up your whānau bubble as you as a grandparent?
Kia ora. Yeah, so our whānau bubble consists of 4.5 people. The 0.5 is a shared arrangement with our mokopuna. So she was with us during the holidays, or the holiday part of the lockdown. And then once Kura started back up yesterday, she went back to her mum. So I think what we're blessed with is having 3 nurses in the whānau. So they're able to advise us on how best to keep ourselves and those within our bubble safe, and how our bubble can broaden and close at the times that we arrange the shared caring stuff. But yes, similarly to Matua Ed, I think the lockdown has done a number of things. It's actually forced whānau together, which can be good and bad. But the good things are that we're having conversations with each other that we've never had. As parents and grandparents, we've had to become the teachers, whether we like it or not. And I suppose we're being able to think creatively about what we can educate our children in mokopuna in regards to mainstream education versus how we can do that at home. And just got to do a big mihi to all those teachers, because all of a sudden we're in their shoes. So we've had to think creatively about, for example, science. Science is what you do when you put washing liquid and water together, and friction is demonstrated with the scrubbing brush and the dishes, and using grid searches for our mowing our lawns and stuff. So just trying to make fun things, and I suppose the opportunity to go for walks, getting out of the whare as a whānau has been great, and utilising our bubble while we're going on these walks and being aware of our environment. and our neighbours, you know, and the kuia that lives up the road. All of a sudden, we're starting to take interest in whānau around us. There's the nanny.
The cool nannies, always the cool nannies. E Tiwi, don't forget, if you've got any questions or comments or just want to tell us where you're listening from, no mai haere mai, put it into the comment box and we'll be able to hopefully answer some of your questions. We've got a question from Vicky Matua Ed, and I think this is for you. What do you mean when you talk about Māori have been isolated for most of our lives?
Well, see, when you have a look at it, when we go back to history of Māori, they were living on maraes, you know. So I know when I was a kid, that's where I've been living, where I was brought up before I came out of the town. So I probably lived most of my life. And our marae is in an isolated place. We're well out in the Wapaps where we are. So that's the reason why I say that. We've already been there. And isolation doesn't mean that it's in the marae itself. There have been people that have been away at other places and having a holiday or being isolated. What I'm saying.
Okay. Ka pai Eugene, Piripi says a big kia ora to you. So kei te mihi atu kia koutou. Another thing I wanted to tap into is if you were to give, you know, we've talked a little bit about some of the things that you have been doing with supporting and having little extended bubbles, which are awesome. But what are some of the cool things that you've done with your mokopuna during these times? Because they must be a bit scared, eh?
You know, having those conversations about what isolation is, you know, and I suppose changing the reo as well. So, you know, a lot of the mainstream kōrero has been around being locked down. And, you know, some of those in our whānau have a different perspective of what lockdown means. And so we've just taken advantage of changing the language, using reo Māori, you know, so talking about noho rāhui. And, you know, our moko and our children, they are inquisitive about what that means now, what it traditionally meant. You know, so we get the opportunity to have kōrero about, you know, rāhui and the times that we've experienced it outside of the space, of course, and then how we can, you know, rāhui generally is about protecting a resource, or at least, you know, putting environments off limits to help rebuild the resource. And I suppose if we think of our whānau as a resource, then, you know, we're protecting our resource, our whānau, by going into this rāhui, and it helps them understand, you know, from their own perspective, or start to build an understanding of what we're actually doing, and having an interest in the health of self and others. You know, we've taken opportunity to talk about that as well, and, you know, and we've had to put ourselves in, we've had to demonstrate, I suppose, or role model what it is to be healthy, and so that's, you know, that creates awesome opportunities for us as matua to be able to demonstrate it rather than just talk about it to our tamariki. Again, I just wanted to meet you, Ed. I saw his hikoi up the maunga. And yeah, that's pretty inspirational, also. And it's a good modelling for our whānau as well, about keeping oneself and whānau healthy.
Ka pai. Aroha mai whānau. Sorry whānau, we have been connecting with, today we're connecting with Matua Ed and Eugene, talking about their experience as grandparents during this rāhui, during COVID-19. But I also want to just acknowledge that we are having a few technical issues. So aroha mai mo tēnā wahana. Angel, thanks. We've got a question from Angel, and she's just talking. She just wants to thank everyone actually for being transparent, which is really good, because this is the kōrero that we actually need to hear, and that our grandparents are a big key part in our whānau. What if you were thinking about some more advice that you would do to support grandparents? What would that be? Matua Ed.
Okay.
Any advice?
Well,
so they can cope with their mokopuna
what's happening. Yeah. Well, yeah. We are. Well, our family is like that. We're a family of laughter. We're a family that likes cracking up at one another. We're a family that likes playing pranks on one another. So, you know, we're those are the sort of things. So keeping everybody happy and making them laugh, you know, it takes everything away from you. I mean, there's sometimes where you can have a rari, but all you need is one of those mokopuna to say something funny, and then you're just, all that rari is gone. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is for a lot of us grandparents, you know, that because we've been around a long time and we know what actually keeps us calm, what actually helps us. Like I said, you know, you can have an argument with your own kids, but when the mokopuna have something to say, you know, it's a lot stronger, you know, it's like, you know. So those are the things that we sort of live with, you know, like, and you find that we find with a lot of grandparents now, they probably love their mokopuna more than their own kids. I'm not saying we don't love our own kids, but we actually do that. We actually, I don't know, by default that happens. I think it is by default. So,
that's really interesting, eh? When you definitely, what you're saying, that you grandparent differently to the way that you parented. Do you think you're a better grandparent than you were a parent?
Well,
or you enjoy it more?
Yeah, well, it is, because what happens is you start. The thing is, we can reflect back. You see, we can reflect back on how we were back in our time. And you can leave the bad things away. You know when to change up. You know when to reset. Let's put it that way. Oh, let's go down another journey. Let's do this. So you know how to do it, and you know, like I said, it comes natural now. Well, for me, it does. It's just like resetting yourself. Well, hang on, we're going to do it this way. You know. So yeah. But like I said, and a lot of these people that I have seen out there are grandparents. A lot of my grandparents with their mokopuna. And it's good. And I get up the hill and I do those things so that I can get my mokopuna and my kids to do it, or anybody to try and do it. You know, if I can just get somebody off the couch. Because when this lockdown, well, I don't know, we should call it lockdown. There's a lot of words for it in Māori, taratahi, mohoao, all those sort of words. But it's actually making us do the things that we haven't done in a long time. I mean, I'm starting to bake again. I'm starting to get back into, you know, doing takakau prau and, you know, making bread and doing the things that I, you know, used to do when our mums and our dads were alive. We're doing all of that stuff, you know. And it's not only one, too. We're doing something like 22 dozens of them a day. So it's like, you know, tika. But, and it does. It teaches the kids. You get the kids involved. Hey, poko e prawa. You get them in there, you get them involved. You know, they might throw a bit of dust around and everything, but the main kaupapa is they're doing something with you.
Yeah.
And they're actually making kai for themselves. They're actually doing. Yeah.
How about you, Eugene? What about you?
Yeah, I suppose a bit of advice to give to grandparents in this space would be to learn another language. You know, and it might be the language of your mokopuna, you know, and sometimes, you know, we only get our mokopuna when mum or dad drops them off when they're going out or whatever, you know, and we take advantage of that time, but it's sometimes limited. So I suppose take this time that we've got, if they're in our bubble, to learn their language, learn what their body language is, you know, what their oohs and ahs mean, what their eye movements mean, and, you know, there's a whole language to learn in that space. Another language that could be learned in this space is how to use Zoom, how to use social media, how to use IT, because we've been able to connect with whānau around the world through Zoom, and we have some unreal fun and games like Matua Ed, a lot of humour comes into it. You know, we've had nights of housey or bingo. We obviously have social occasions where all the kids jump on from over in England and down here, and they're all talking about how they're coping. But it can't happen if you don't know if you're not computer literate. You know, so that's another language that would be good to learn, I suppose.
And it's that whole thing of keeping connected so that you don't isolate yourself as kaumātua, as grandparents.
That's right, because we always, we're good at communicating, on the marae, on the paipai or whatever, so we've got to learn a new way of communicating, I suppose. And it's unfortunate that we've had to be forced into this position to do it, but let's take advantage of the time, and and even moving out of this, you can still remain connected with those of your whānau around the world. That'll be one of the things, and I suppose, like much of Ed's doing, pick up on those skills that you may have lost over the years, and you've just forgotten them because you stopped doing them since you were a kid, and just when I was talking about that, I was thinking about, I remember when the old man used to just flour and water, and that was our bread, and now it's it's a delicacy. Get out in the garden if you've got one. If you haven't, make one. Just look for as many opportunities as you can to engage positively with your children. These are the things that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
And those are beautiful memories for our mokopuna to take forward for when they become grandparents. It's those sorts of memories that we're trying to establish. We want good memories for our mokopuna, and doing things like poke prawa and mahi mara, all those things that we forgot that we used to always do, as something that is new for our mokopuna, for a lot of our mokopuna, and introducing those back is really beautiful. Now we're going to go to a bit of an ad break. Whānau, we've got Tiny Adventures cards that you can get for free from our Skip website, or you can download the app. It's just activity, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes to an hour activities that you can pick, that you can do with your whānau. One other thing that we might do right now is just have a kōrero about, you mentioned technology and how great it is around connecting, Eugene. Is technology something that a lot of our paipai know about, or is it something new and we need to start to support our kaumātuas more to do that?
I think we need to jump at every opportunity to support our kaumātua kuia to move into this space. We've already seen tangi through restrictions have had to be done via Zoom and stuff, so it's a new normal, I suppose, and if we get the opportunities to educate our whānau on how to use things effectively, there's even this thing I'm wearing, I had no idea what it was. It was my son's PlayStation thing. Now it's very useful when I'm zooming because it cuts out all the noise. And, all that.
I'm going to grab my boys one. He's got one in there too. I wonder what that was for.
And so,
now you must be you must be playing games.
I get to use these during school hours, so we've made a deal. So, and it's cool because he starts seeing that some of his toys are useful for dad and his money. So, I think the more opportunities we have to engage our whānau with IT opportunities, and especially now, especially with the schooling, most, not all of it is done over using IT. And if we want to be a part of that, then we need to learn how to use it effectively, so that we can support our children and grandchildren in their kind of traditional type learning environment. Because we don't know what level 3 is going to look like in terms of schooling and that kind of stuff. So, make use of the IT.
Ka whai. What's your both? I'm going to talk to both of you about this, but what is your favourite thing about being grandparents? Matua Ed? What's your favourite thing or things that you love doing with being a grandparent?
Well, see, the good thing with me is my grandparents, I never got to be around them, because they had passed away before my time, you see. So for me, it's like, I have to make up that time as well for them. Hey, so I have to play that part as well. But the thing I love about being a grandparent is you're able to go back to your childhood. When your mokopuna are around with you. You're able to go back to the time where Because when you're growing up, when we were young, we had to do a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with our mokopuna now, we're lucky they're not doing that. Well, I'm glad they're not doing that. I'm glad they're not doing the things that we had to do when we were kids. So those are the things. It's like, wow, hey, even when you buy things, you know, I think we might have overdone it sometimes because we started getting them things, buying our mokopuna things that we never had. You know, the things that we couldn't have, we made sure that they got them. But in some way, it's sort of, what should I say? It's sort of put us in a jam sometimes because they're not listening, or they're not even wanting to be around. Like Eugene we're talking about IT. IT is one of the other things too for our kids. It's good that they know what they're doing now, but they need to go back to what we're doing. Like we're talking about gardens, puka puka prawa, those sort of things, because when they get onto the things like iPads, phones, whatever. I mean, I made it all in our house. No phones at the kitchen table anymore, you know, because everybody on our kitchen table is busy and you don't have that conversation anymore. So it's like, oh, okay, you know. Another good thing too is when I have my mokopuna, because a lot of them call it a Māori, you know, call it a Māori. So I make sure that we do that when we are at our table, wherever we are. You know, those are the things. They're actually helping me, they're teaching me to teach them. If you understand what I'm saying? They're teaching me to teach them, because you have to go down to their level. And you have to drop down to that. You can't stay up there all the time. You got to come down so you can go back up again. You understand that?
Aye.
Kia ora.
Oh, rawe. Pehea koe, Eugene. What are the best things about
Yeah, similar
grandparenting?
to Matu Ed, I didn't get to experience my grandparents, my taumata kia. So the best thing about being a koro is creating memories with our moko. And want them, after we're well and truly gone, we want them to remember all the good times that we had. You know, and they say it's, at least with mokos, you can get them back, but we tend not to, you know, so if we had our way, all our mokos will be living with us, you know, and it's quite funny. When our kids say, "Hey, where do you find the money for them that you didn't find for us?" But that's all along the lines of spoiling our mokopuna, which, you know, we're entitled to do, I suppose. And we just tell our kids that if they don't like it, just leave the mokos with us. Then. So yeah, it's just creating those awesome memories with our mokopuna. That's the best thing about being a koro to my mokos and being a part of their lives. Which is something that, you know, my grandparents went
I ka whai. I te iwi, kei te mihi atu ki a tātou katoa, ki wā tātou manuhiri kia koe matua Eugene, kei te mihi kia kōrua, I whai wāhi mai ki te kōrero kia mātou o taki kōrero. Thank you both for sharing your treasures, your kōrero, your whānau, and we do have a quick comment from Vicky, and she says she agrees with Koro Ed. We wise up a bit when we become grandparents, which is a nice closure for this wāhana. And hei whakakapi I wā tātou kōrero. Also like to thank all the people that have tuned in to Taki Kōrero. And remember, we have one next week, and I think we're talking to Korimako Legal about how they can support whānau during this time. And also you might want to start planning other things as whānau. Don't forget, if you want more advice for grandparents, there's the Age Concern website that you can go to, but all the iwi and hapu services out there that support tamariki. And there are lots of resources out there. And go to our website, www.skip.org.nz. Hei whakakapi tēnei wāhana, kene pēr me whakaoti me tētahi waiata, ne? Te taona o tōku nā kau, ko taku mokopuna e mokopuna kori kori, hei aha rā, Ko te mea nui, ko te aroha. Kaua e pati taku moko puna. Kia awhi awhi mai taku moko puna kori kori e. Kia awhi awhi mai taku moko puna kori kori e. Nō reira, e te whānau kia haumaru te noho. Hei kona.
Tēnā koe, tēnā koe, tēnā. Tēnā koutou.